All right. What's up, everyone? Doing a surprise live stream today. Give me a second. And we'll get moving. All right. Cool, we got some people on here. All right, all right. Haha, this is a funny comment right here. You look very worried. Nah, man. You haven't been watching me enough. I don't get worried. Seasoned veteran right here. I think you're worried that I might be worried. Let's see who's in here. Mr. Shakuhi. We got McKean and Katie. We got Alan, Billy Tan, Teresa, Joseph Hall, Ahmed, Victor Ayala, Christelle, Eric Smith. McKean and Katie say love the impromptu live streams. I hope I say this right. Abdi Aziz. Ahmed says my ears are all wide open. Talk to us. Joseph says got to 15K on my product now. Congrats. Let's see here. 1 second. Let's see here. Andia, what's up? Another student. Doing Nguyen. Simona. JG. J. Dwayne. Mike Stufu, completely new. What you teaching? Stocks are on sale. What do you think about selling masks? Hey, so one question I have for you guys: where are you guys watching from? I love hearing where you guys like. I know sometimes we get people from all over the world. So post in the chat where you're watching from. I'd love to hear it, and then we'll start getting on some of the topics. Okay? So I'm gonna set a timer here. Let's see here. I'm going to set a timer here for 3-minute timer, okay? 3-minute timer, and then we'll get into some of these topics. So yeah, where you guys watching from? Love to hear. I'm in Northern California. It's a heads up. Let's see here. So we have Nathan Clark is from San Diego. I heard it was raining there recently. 2 Ticks is from London. Mike Sufu from England, London. Joseph Hall's from New Jersey. Patty is from Miami. Teresa's from Prague, Czech Republic. Abdi Aziz is from Minnesota. Pomona, California. Christelle is from Mason City. Simona's from Bulgaria. Shout out to Bulgaria. That's pretty far out there. Seb from Canada. Ahmed from Dubai. Let me put that on the screen. Dubai. Andia from Romania. King Anarchy from New Hampshire. Canada. Rich from Washington, D.C. Eileen. the Black Widow from Europe. J. Dwayne, Ohio, restaurants and bars are closed. Takeout and drive-thru only this week. We have Alberto from New York City, someone from Turkey, Calgary, Crooklyn, better known as Brooklyn, London, only place for success, scary Seattle. Woo! Watch out. Another one from Romania, Bobby from LA, Eric from Baton Rouge, Nathan from Minnesota, Hivago from Portugal. Woo! All right, so we got like 50 people in here. We got one more minute before we start, and then we'll get talking, okay? We got some interesting topics for this Sunday. I bet a lot of you guys are like me. You're just kind of chilling at home. Have the bubble around you, got your supplies, surrounded by stacks of toilet paper and hand sanitizer that you paid too much for. No, I'm just kidding. Who else we got here? We have Croatia. Miss Isabella from Romania. We have Estonia. SoCal. All right. So let us get started. Okay, I've made, there's a timer. That means game time, fellas and fellettes. So I have made one YouTube video since December 20th. That's been a while. And I'm glad you guys are here. Hopefully we can have a good discussion and I can answer some questions, etc. Okay? So we have a few topics I want to talk about, and let's go in order. All right? First off, in my last video, which has been like 50 days, I talked about giving away a free private label master's course. It's time to do that right now. So, in the video, I talked about to write down your goals, and I was going to pick a random person who wrote down some specifics with the goals, okay? So, we have picked a winner for the free private label master's course, and this person is the one and only Kelly Shepard. All right, Kelly Shepard. What you're going to have to do, Kelly, is join the Private Label Masters Facebook group and tag myself because it looks like you're not in there. But I want to read you guys what Kelly Shepard's goals were that she wrote down. Okay, I got them right here. It says, as a newcomer, my goals are oriented to the startup of my Amazon FBA business. Access to the Private Label Masters course would be exactly what I need to get out of my 9-to-5, where I feel like I'm just going through the motions, on the hamster wheel, disengaged. Is that how you feel? All right, so here are her goals. 1, learn how to successfully source the correct products to sell on Amazon FBA. 2, learn how to correctly hire a freight forwarder to get the product to where it needs to be. 3, learn how to successfully launch 2 to 3 products by the end of 2020. 4, learn how to put the proper system in place to successfully operate my Amazon business. 5, hopefully make $2,000 profit within 3 months after the first launch. 6, hopefully make $5,000 profit per month by the end of 2020. And 7, make enough sales with my 2 to 3 products to replace my current income by the end of 2020. I want to get off the hamster wheel and own my own time. Carpe diem. All right, so that is the type of goals I like. Those are realistic. They have time frames on them, and you can see that she has the mindset to really make the most of this, all right? So, Kelly Shepard, congrats. Free Private Label Masters course, all right? All you got to do is join the VIP Facebook group and tag myself or make a post in there like, hey, I won the course. Set me up because I have no other way to contact you, okay? Congrats. So, that's first. Next topic we're going to talk about. Coronavirus, COVID-19, the novel coronavirus. If you're like me, you're going out, you read some headlines, you go out to the store, getting your food, and you're like looking at everyone like they're the boogeyman. You're like, ooh, like keep the distance, However, there are some high quality memes out there. But so the question that many people have is like, how is coronavirus affecting Amazon businesses? All right. How's it affecting my business? How's it affecting other people's business? I want to show you something that I found very interesting. All right. I found this very interesting. Let me find it. I got a screen shot of this. Okay. It says here. So as we all know, like if you're keeping up to date with the news, a lot of places are just like shutting down, right? All of Italy quarantined to the end of the month, like the whole country. I think recently Spain just said the same thing. I know that Austria just came out and said only 5 people per gathering, no more than that. And I know even in the US, like things are starting to kind of like close down a bit, right? So how is it affecting Amazon businesses, all right? Or if you're thinking about getting an Amazon business, how is it affecting, okay? We have one person on here who says, I'm a large seller, sales are down drastically, right? So it's good to get, both sides of the story. But I want to show you this because it's pretty interesting. It says, I'm going to show this real quick. So here we go. It says, update on commercial transportation of goods in Italy. On March 9th, the Italian government issued new safety measures. These measures do not restrict commercial vehicle transportation and run into it. Shipments to Amazon fulfillment centers are allowed in operation. Oh man, come on. And operations at fulfillment centers are continue. I'm just going to read it. Continuation. However, so shipments to Amazon fulfillment centers are allowed and operations at fulfillment centers are continuing on as usual. However, customer deliveries may experience slowdowns. If you expect your seller fulfilled shipments to be affected, blah, 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 Amazon will continue to monitor this. So check this out. If you are a business owner in Italy, a restaurant owner, maybe a franchise owner, who knows, right? Your business is locked down. Nothing is happening. 90% of businesses are like that in Italy. But you know what's still alive and cooking? Amazon businesses. All right, I sell in Italy. I'm still getting the sales there too. In fact, I've seen some people say they're getting like 3 times the amount of sales in Italy. And so that's kind of interesting, because who knows, if it kind of locks down even more so in the States, that might be what it's going to be like there because people still need to get things. But what about sales here? Notice this person, 2 ticks. My sales are up by 400%. So I'm seeing that a lot of people noticing that too because people don't want to go to stores. People are worried. People want to get things delivered. And so online sales are doing great, right? So when it comes to coronavirus affecting sales, I'm actually, my account has been seeing not really any change at all. Some things a little bit more. And even in countries where it's like lockdown, Amazon businesses are still cooking. Now, another thing that has to do with like coronavirus is what about suppliers? Well, not interesting, but most suppliers that us private label sellers use are in China. And China was the first one to get affected by this. And they're the first ones who are recovering from this. So if you don't know what Chinese New Year is, it's like the beginning of the year. And it's the beginning of the year. And so the beginning of the year, every year there's something called Chinese New Year. It lasts about 3.5 weeks. It's like late January, mid-February. And so coronavirus hit over there and it kind of like shut down everything, right? So basically instead of Chinese New Year being like 3.5 weeks or whatever, it got extended to like, 5 weeks because of the whole coronavirus thing. Well, now when I talk to my suppliers, they're all back. They're all pumping it out. Every single one of my suppliers is there. I'm shipping 20 40-foot containers this month right now. So this person writes, the problem is not Amazon, it's Chinese manufacturers being shut down. Well, if you're a current seller and you are sourcing from China, that what was said right there is not the case. I have multiple suppliers, and every single one of them is back in business. Every single one of them is producing goods. So that being said, supply chain totally intact now, back up and running. We're facing the other side of it, which is like lockdown kind of thing in different countries. But as you saw in Italy, Amazon deliveries are still going. So I'm actually very happy that I am an Amazon seller during this climate right now, because people aren't wanting to go to stores. People want to order online. Look, here's another comment from somebody, right? Sales are up 30% in the last 30 days. US market only, one brand, 35 products. We see also another person here. Again, you're going to hear a lot of comments on Facebook groups. You're going to hear a lot of comments on YouTube channels and stuff like that. But you want to look for people who are actually in this business and doing it at a large scale. So Jay, who just commented, Jay is one of the students in the Private Label Masters course. He does over $300,000 a month. I do over $1 million a month. All my suppliers up and going, no problem right here. Here we have another large seller Tradecraft guys. All my suppliers are back working too. Some at 100% capacity, but the outlook is good. All right, so that's kind of like the realistic view of how coronavirus is affecting Amazon sellers from the supply chain all the way down to the buyers. Actually, I'm not seeing that much difference. Look here, we have another one. Joseph Hall, my sales are insane. So I know a lot of people are like, I don't know if I want to get into this Amazon business. What do we think about this whole coronavirus and ruining the whole economy? It's having a drastic impact on the economy, yes, like trillions of dollars from the stock market. But for Amazon sellers, we're doing all right. So here we go. So again, I'm not a seller. My friend is, and one of her manufacturers is shut down. Okay, so again, like I said, there are people who will mention things, and I'm not saying that I doubt this is true, but again, a friend whose manufacturer is shut down, that probably is the case. But as you can see by many of the other comments, people's sales are flying up. Every single one of my suppliers back in business. Most of my student suppliers, every single one of them back in business. No issues there. So Amazon is a pretty awesome business model to be in at this time during this climate, right? If you're another type of business, I'm not too sure, all right? So I want to touch on that in regards to coronavirus. So the next topic that I want to talk about is the stock market, okay? So a lot of people are talking about the stock market right now. Like, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Stocks are getting destroyed. When do we get in? All this kind of stuff. I want to, so somebody bought me this book, and I've been reading it. Ray Dalio Principles. Excellent book right here. I'm going to tell you real quick before I get back on the stocks thing. So there are books out right now. So, okay, there's different types of people. There's that young TikTok influencer who cracked the code on how to like kill it on the TikTok algorithm, right? But their skill set is so narrow to this little thing, right? But they have it, and it's great, and you want to learn from them if you're trying to get into TikTok, right? Then you have like the next level up, maybe a person like in their 30s or their 40s who's like been in some business for a while, and they have mastery level of another skill. When you're talking about a guy like this, right? Ray Dalio. This is like you sat next to an older gentleman, right? Who's been through all different types of economies, all different presidents, all different ups and downs, failures, mistakes, gains, wins. And he's basically breaking it down and letting you know the overall principles that can apply to your business and every business, because he's been there and seen it all, right? So there's different level of wisdom in a book like this. So when it comes to the stock market, I like this quote that he brought out. All right? I'm going to read it to you real quick. This is what I do. I like go through and I highlight. So, Ray Dalio knows a ton about investments, stock market, all that kind of stuff. Notice this sentence, what he says, right? Making money in the markets is tough. The brilliant trader and investor Bernard, I think it's Baruch, put it well when he said, if you are ready to give up everything else and study the whole history and background of the market and all principal companies whose stocks are on the board as carefully as a medical student studies anatomy, if you can do all of that, in addition, you have the cool nerves of a gambler, the sixth sense of a clairvoyant, and the courage of a lion, you have a ghost of a chance. Now, I'm not saying that you can't make a killing on the market, but if I were to go through every single person who's in the comments right now and say how many of you have made tons of money on the stock market, I bet it's relatively few. I bet it's relatively like maybe a handful. So my suggestion to you is don't get too carried away, right, with the whole stock market drop and like I'm going to make millions overnight. Because I used to day trade on the stock market all the time. And I have an entry on Tesla stock market at $187. And then I'd got in again and double dipped at $220 on Tesla. I'm not saying I'm an expert trader, but I've traded a bit, right? One thing I can tell you is there are some big whales out there and market movers, and they know what world sentiment is and the retail buyer who doesn't have much money and who wants to jump in. And those guys can see your positions when you jump into a trade. If you have a streaming trading application, you can see every single block of trade that comes in. You can see the machines that are doing 100 share buys, 100 sell, 100. You can see when big block buys come in, 10,000. And then you can see when random Joe Schmo is like 30, 10, 15, 25 shares, all right? They can see where you put your stops in, right? They know, right? And this is not investment advice for you, but this is just an educated guess that I have. They know when it starts to bounce a little bit, everyone's going to come flooding in. You know what? After you go flooding in, again, just a guess, they're going to drop it one time real quick to snatch all your stop losses and to get out, and then it'll go up again. So just keep it in mind, all right? Don't just think like, oh yeah, this is just going to turn around. I'm just going to put all this money in and I'm going to make tons of money. It could very well be the opportunity of a lifetime when it comes to stocks, but be careful because there's some big whales out there and they're watching and they see, and it's more at play than what you think of just like, oh, there's a good company, right? There are very few successful day traders. Remember that. There are many successful long-term and hold, right? So just keep that in mind. Remember what he said. He said trading in the market is tough, right? This is coming from one of the top guys ever to do it, right? Billions of dollars of money they manage in the market. And he says, if you're ready to give up everything else, study the whole history and background of the market and all principal companies whose stocks are on the board as carefully as a medical student studies anatomy, if you can do that all in addition, you have cool nerves of a gambler, the sixth sense of a clairvoyant, and the courage of a lion, you have a ghost of a chance. So don't get too carried away with the stocks, right? My suggestion would be to kind of watch when it bounces, wait, see if it drops back down again, and then start to take up some positions, all right? Next thing, let's talk about getting started. So there's a lot of people who have watched a lot in regards to Amazon, have been doing a lot of research, or in lots of Facebook groups, things like that. However, they have yet to start on Amazon. And most people, I'm going to tell you this, 90 to 95% of people, the reason why they fail at Amazon and never get started is because they're afraid. All right? It's interesting. They like to watch videos on it. They like to be in Facebook groups. They like to talk to each other about it. They like to cruise around on Amazon, hit the Jungle Scout estimator a few times, but they just don't have it in them to get started, right? Let's talk to the old wise man Ray Dalio again. Let's see what he says, all right? Right here, I'm going to read this part right here. It says, imagine that in order to have a great life, you have to cross a dangerous jungle. You can stay safe where you are and have an ordinary life, or you can risk crossing the jungle to have a terrific life. How would you approach the choice? Take a moment to think about it, because it is the sort of choice that in one form or another we all have to make. All right. So I made a video a while back talking about like the 9 to 5. Most people sleepwalking at their job. They can't stand it, but they just stay there. They just stay there. And they just stay there, right? Think about that. Imagine that in order to have a great life, you have to cross a dangerous jungle. You can stay safe where you are, have an ordinary life, or you can risk crossing the jungle to have a terrific life. The choice is yours, all right? If you're sitting here and you're like, yeah, that's me. That's totally me. That's me, you know, I used to like my job. It's not very mentally challenging. I don't wake up excited for it. Like I want to give you a glimpse of what it's like now when I wake up on a Monday, okay? I wake up excited, right? Because there are ways to launch things on Amazon, you know? Anyways, so if that's you, don't just settle. You know, it doesn't matter if it has to do with selling on Amazon or whatever, but think about a lot of things. Fear holding you back, don't let it. Push through that. Fear thins out the herd. There's 10,000 people who want to sell on Amazon. They're all coming, they're all learning. Fear hits the wall, hits them, 95% fall off. Are you part of the 5% that'll keep going? That wants to learn, that'll do what it takes to push through and have maybe that amazing life perhaps? Try it, all right? If you're interested in learning from me, I got a link in the description. All right, so last topic, hiring. All right, hiring. Now, there's a lot of different people who probably watch my channel. There are some who haven't started on Amazon. Think about that quote. There are some who have started on Amazon already, and they're starting to have some success. Now, I have a video on the channel that talks about like delegating, what kind of tasks to delegate, blah, blah, blah. One more quote for you guys, right? One more quote. And then I'll add a little bit of extra to it. All right? There it is. Ready? It's about hiring for your team, right? So just as a heads up, so when I made that video, my last one, I think I've hired maybe 3 or 4 more people. And so I have ones who work for me in the US full-time. I have ones who work for me in the Philippines, some full-time. And I even have one in Pakistan. A few others, right? Check this thing. All right, this quote. I believe that all organizations basically have 2 types of people. Those who work to be a part of a mission and those who work for a paycheck. Keep that in mind when you're going to hire. This person who sees the mission, wants to be a part of it, wants to grow it, views this business almost as theirs, takes pride in it, have loyalty, or they just come to you for a paycheck, you know? Keep that in mind, all right? Hire A players who you can give them like, hey, here's what I'm going to assign you to do. Here's some tasks. Here's the SOPs to perform it. Go out there and get it. And guess what? A players come back to you and they're like, what about this? Here's something I think can improve it. Here's this, that. And you're like, go ahead and do it, right? So I got a bunch of A players who work with me. I probably have, like 7 people who work with me on the Amazon. And those who work for you, right? They're real people. They have lives. They have families, all of the above. And your encouragement to them and taking the time, go ahead and write your questions and I will see if I can answer them. Okay, so let me see some of this stuff in regards to it. Let's see here. Steve says, I'm just starting out. All of my one and only suppliers up and running. Oh, happy for you, Steve. I source some of my products from Italy. No restriction on movement of goods. Is shipping already available from China? Yes, it is. Ray Dalio shorted the market and predicted what happened in March. A smart guy. I would trust that guy. Hey Tim, do you own XRP cryptocurrency? This will replace USD soon, like a Bitcoin. I do not own XRP. I do have a student who's always talking about XRP. But Marco, if you believe that XRP is going to replace US dollars, I want to see you put 90% of your money in that, if it's going to replace it. Tell me how much percentage of your overall worth have you invested in XRP, and that'll tell me how much you believe in it. Write that comment. I'd love to see it. I'm just giving you a hard time. Rogue Seller says fear is a motivation killer. Yeah, fear. You know, one of the things I love about it is like, I love that there is the aspect of fear when it comes to selling on Amazon, because so many people just lay down for it and don't go forward. Whereas after you go through this process and you do some entrepreneurial type things, fear is just a part of the game, and you just start becoming like a seasoned veteran. And where it's stopping everyone else, I'm just cruising through. I'm like, whoa, I'm feeling a little fear. That means I'm on the right track. Let's see how we can mentally reframe the situation and keep going. Guilty, I had to get out of my rut and self-defeating thinking. That's right. I'm crossing the jungle right now because I don't own the company that I work for. Let's see here. Lemon says, hey Tim, love your channel. Let's see here. Okay, so Lemon says, I sell on Amazon and would love your advice. I'm at 10K a month now for the past 3 months. My competitors do 40 to 60K on one product, so I know it's a good one. Any recommendations for scaling? So if it matters on your one product right now, I would recommend trying to find out every single keyword that your competitors are ranking for and making sure that you rank for them also. Like right now, if you're doing 10K and they're doing 40 or 60K, chances are they're probably ranked for quite a few more keywords than you. Use something like Helium 10 Cerebro. Find those ones that they are, ranked top page that have like over 1,000 search results. See which ones you aren't, and do whatever you got to do to start ranking for those, and you'll start to see your sales go up too. Marco says, I purchased Tim's course and it was great. I've been watching his unique course and over master. Now I own one brand. I've also used my profit to get 100K XRP yesterday. Marco, let's see a screenshot of that. What's up, Brian? Kyle, when I get the money, I'll definitely be in your course. Right on, man. We'd love to help you reach your goals. Joseph, I'm looking to get into it in another product. What niche do you think is trending in 2020? So, and you can make money in every niche on Amazon. Just takes a little creative thinking. So, plus you don't want just to grab one that's a niche. I mean, that's trending. You want something that's, going to be here for a while. Joe Christopher, how do you set up PPC campaigns? How do you scale? Oh, there's so many different ways for this. There's so many different ways. Oh man, this is like too deep of a combo, but just make sure you have an auto, some manual campaigns, and also product targeting set up. All right. Abdi Aziz says, my competitor BSR is unidentified. What does it mean? So sometimes this happens when your competitors have a weird category change. And I've had this happen to some of my listings. Is my, what's it called? My BSR disappears. And I actually like it. Like I used to like looking at my BSR, how does it compare to others? But since I can see on the back end how many sales I'm getting, I don't really mind it. And without the BSR number, none of the tools work to know how much you're selling. So I kind of like that idea. But that's all it means. Something messed up with this category. The globe goes into a recession, best case scenario or worst depression, what would you do with your company? Shout out to GT's Kombucha Synergy. Woo! Burns the throat. Best case scenario is 3xing my sales because everyone wants to buy online. Worst case scenario is my sales get chopped by a percentage and I still, the return on my sales is still better than any investment out there. That's worst case scenario. What would you do if you can only make sales through PPC? I would take a hard look at my product and see why I can't make organic sales. Chances are you're not ranking for them, but you should be able to get organic sales if you're ranked well on the front page. Because what's the difference between PPC and organic ranking? PPC is like paid version of being on the front page. Organic ranking is an unpaid version, you know? So you're only getting sales through PPC as if you're not ranked organically anywhere and they can only find you PPC. So do what you have to do to get ranked. Hey Tim, what type of site do I need for brand registry? Can it be a simple blog with affiliate links just to then start a WooCommerce store link to FBA? You can just have a Wix site. That's all you need. Brand registry, just a Wix site. Get your domain, have your product on there and your brand, contact information, and that's all you need. Do you do DDP on all your products? No, I do DDP on none of my products actually. I always do FOB and I get my own freight forwarder. Hi Tim, my 2B competitors are doing 767 to 1,000 sales a month. How much should I get in inventory? You got to measure your production time, your shipping time, and a 2 to 3 week buffer, right? And whatever that amount is, I would go after that. So if your top competitors are doing that much, take midway of that, like 750. Divide that by 30, that's how many sales per day. Then find out how long production time is, how much shipping time is, add a 2 to 3 week buffer on that, and that's how much I'd order. Some of my competitors use images from Pinterest. Is this legal? If it's not their product, they shouldn't technically be allowed to use it, but it would take somebody to report that. Hey Tim, is supplements a risky category to get in? Depends on your risk tolerance. Supplements is where big dogs play. Like you come in there with a protein supplement, you're going against like Optimum Nutrition, brands that pay thousands of dollars. It's risky in the sense when it comes to liability, it's not, but if you have a super niche down type supplement, you might be okay. Hey Tim, I don't want to be like Joey. Hey Noah, you do want to be like Joey. You know why? Because Joey found me after he had some failed products, and now Joey is killing it. Hey Tim, is it possible to transfer a product that I'm currently selling to a friend's account so he can sell this product on his seller account? So all you have to do is let your friend hijack your listing and then you stop selling it. That's it. Now he is on the listing and he's controlling it. If it has to do with brand registry, you can go in through brand registry and put him as an authorized user, his seller account for your brand, and then he has access to control the brand registry also, like the enhanced brand content, A+ content, that kind of thing. Joe Christopher says, I've tried to use Facebook ads ManyChat for rebates, but I find that people are clicking the flow, not continuing it. How would you advise setting up the ad flow you get the most out of the spend? Well, I think a lot might have to do with who your audience is. I always have the best success with lookalike audience from past customers that I have. But, I mean, if it's clear that they're going to get the product back for free, some products just don't do as well. Like, people are like, man, even if I have that product for free, I don't want it. So, I don't know. A lot of times it's just your targeting. It might be off. Let's see here. Getting started on Amazon, the stock market, hiring. So make sure to watch the replay. What do you do with inventory that doesn't sell well? Does it work like PayPal where you can put your credit card in as a funding source? All right, so basically with trade assurances, you have to do your product through Alibaba. Like the whole transaction has to go through there. Make sure that like the pro forma invoice that they upload within your Alibaba order has all the specifics in regards to your item. And if there's certain areas that you're like concerned that they might not do right, make sure to put in there like specific, right? If they say like we're gonna be done production on the 30th, right in there, like put that in there. Production to be finished and shipped out on this XYZ date, right? That way, if you need to use trade assurance, you have specifics that you can hold them accountable for. So the way trade assurance works is you're going to have multiple options to pay. Now, credit card isn't always an option they let you have in there. It's kind of like iffy like that. But typically it is a bank transfer, which is you can do that in your bank, or e-checking where you connect your bank account. It's an ACH transfer basically, and it takes 3 to 5 days to get them. And I think it's like $15. I know when I wire from my bank, it's like $45 if I need to do that. And sometimes that you do pay with a credit card, and I think it's like 3% fee on top of that. But that's kind of how it works. So you can try to set it up and see if it'll let you do the credit card through there, and then you'll be good to go. Let's see here. Let's see, I'll answer this one. My first product is live on Amazon for about a week, surviving on PPC and no reviews. Should I start Facebook ads? 1 week, I'd give it a little bit longer. I'd keep your PPC up and maybe throw a coupon on there or lower your price a bit. See if you start getting some traction. All right. So, Mr. Bill says, hey, Tim, I have an Amazon seller account up and running for 2 years. My wife wants to start her own. Can we both have completely 2 different accounts under one roof? Is it against TOS? So what you have to do is reach out through seller support and request, tell them your situation and basically tell them like, hey, we're going to have 2 people under one roof. We have different businesses. How do we go about setting up this? And they will tell you if you can, or if you can't, and if you can, how you got to do it. I have 2 seller accounts, but again, I ask permission. They don't like you just like making multiple seller accounts when you log into the same IP address, etc. So make sure to reach out to them, get approval, and then from then on you should be fine. So that will be the last of the questions. All right. So you guys, I haven't made a video. I've made 1 video since December 20th. I hope I answered a lot of you guys' questions. There are some I didn't get to, but I tried to focus on the ones that will apply to the most people who are watching this and who will watch this, all right? I do a live stream for my student group like this, but even longer, sometimes an hour and a half every single Tuesday or Monday for the last like 9 months, every single Monday and Tuesday. And we have every single one of those things recorded. We have someone in the comments who is throwing a little bit of a hissy fit because his question didn't get answered. I apologize. Please forgive me. All right. But if you guys want access to me like this, right? If you don't want to have to wait every 4 months when I decide to do a live Q&A, come join the Private Label Masters crew. We have probably 7. Hey, keep all of our information within our group. All right. You should see how the community we have in there, it's killing it. We have people killing it, all right? So if you want to join us, there's a link down below, Private Label Masters. And if you guys join, I'll see you guys in there. If not, I'll see you guys in the next video, all right? Take care, be safe, and don't hog all the toilet paper, all right? Share some of that. See you guys later.